Good afternoon, I'm Charles Lejano. This is One News Now. President Duterte took part in the UN General Assembly for the first time. In his speech, the chief executive raised various matters, including the country's landmark legal victory against China. Maricel Halili will give us the details in this report.
In his first appearance before the United Nations General Assembly, President Duterte invoked the Philippines' arbitral win against China. The chief executive emphasized the country's commitment is in accordance with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. The president also welcomed the increasing number of states that have come in support of the arbitral ruling.
The award is now part of international law, beyond compromise and beyond the reach of passing governments to dilute, diminish, or abandon. We firmly reject attempts to undermine it.
China, however, has never acknowledged the arbitral ruling since it was awarded to the Philippines 4 years ago. In his State of the Nation address last July, Duterte even called himself inutile in asserting the rights over the West Philippine Sea. Despite this, his spokesman Harry Roque insisted that Duterte has always been consistent in his statements.
Ngayon lang po yan narinig galing sa bibig ng Presidente sa UN dahil ngayon lang naman nagsalita ang Presidente galing sa UN, pero wala pong bago dyan. No? Yan po yung consistent position na ng Presidente.
The president also took the opportunity to defend the country's war against illegal drugs. Duterte slammed those he called detractors who passed themselves off as human rights advocates while using children as shields in encounters. He maintained that while open dialogue may end the issue, there must also be full respect of the principles of objectivity and non-interference.
A number of interest groups have weaponized human rights, some well-meaning, others ill-intentioned. They attempt to discredit the functioning institutions and mechanisms of democratic country.
The chief executive also defended the passage of the anti-terror law, which is now facing a number of petitions before the Supreme Court. As for the ongoing health crisis, Duterte asked assurance for the universal access to anti-COVID technologies and products, including vaccines.
When the world finds that vaccine, access to it must not be denied nor withheld. It should be made available to all rich and poor nations alike as a matter of policy.
The president noted that the Philippines joins other ASEAN countries in their stand that COVID-19 vaccine must be considered a global public good. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
President Duterte was widely praised for invoking the Philippines' arbitral award against China. Former Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario, who led the delegation that secured the ruling in favor of the Philippines, said the next step is for the chief executive to put the invocation into reality.
The next step is for our president and his administration to put into reality the invocation of the arbitral award. Our government should work earnestly to get the support of more countries so that the arbitral award will be raised more emphatically next year for the UNGA 2021.
Retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, who was also part of the team, hopes that Duterte's words become policy across all levels, to include protection, negotiations, gathering international support. For Senator Panfilo Lacson, Duterte's strong and unequivocal position on the issue should now erase all doubts where he stands among Filipinos from both sides of the political aisle. Muntinlupa Representative Rafi Biazon was also pleased, claiming that the president's latest move shows that the country can stand up against intrusions and assertions by China without resorting to war. COVID-19 cases in the Philippines continue to increase with over 2,800 new infections reported today. That brings the nationwide case tally to nearly 295,000, some 58,000 of which are still active. The virus claimed the lives of 44 patients over the past 24 hours, raising the country's death toll to over 5,000. More than 230,000, meanwhile, have gotten better from the disease, with over 700 new recoveries reported today. Filipinos will get to experience some real white sand soon. Boracay Island will begin accepting guests next month. Shaila Francisco has the story.
Starting October 1, tourists coming from areas under general community quarantine will be allowed to enter Boracay. Visitors will be required to present a negative swab test result taken 48 to 72 hours before their flight. They are also advised to undergo quarantine prior to their trips. There will be no age restrictions. The Boracay Interagency Task Force assures the public that strict health protocols are in place.
This is first to restart tourism. Number 2, para magkaroon na ng trabaho yung mga tao. And third, para naman finally makapunta na sa Boracay. We've proven that the protocols of Boracay are already in place. Very important is test before travel.
Only tourists from Western Visayas have been allowed to visit Boracay since June 16. The popular summer destination has only seen a total of 3,782 tourists since then, a far cry from the 5,000 visitors it used to receive per day. Local authorities made use of the past 3 months to beef up safety protocols in the island. For one, airlines are instructed to use only the Katiklan Airport for tourists in the island. It will also implement a QR code systems in hotel and other establishments as part of its contact tracing efforts. Employees from Western Visayas will be prioritized to return to work for now. The province has put up its own COVID testing laboratory. The tourism department, however, is eyeing to install another one in the island to cater to Boracay visitors. Parties and drinking sessions will be prohibited for now to ensure compliance to physical distancing and curfew.
Basta open air, limited activities actually basically pag open air, all the health and safety protocols are already there. Well, as of now, meron naman carrying capacity ang Boracay, but syempre 50% kasi kailangan may physical distancing.
Establishments have committed to provide 50 to 75% discounts to help offset the tourists' expenses for the RT-PCR test.
Yeah, everybody signified to give discount. Our governor asked that we should give promos. So yeah, we give the discount so that to encourage tourists to come to Boracay. We know that there will be testing. 2 months ago pa lang talagang yun ang magiging protocol. So to even out the cost of that RT-PCR, yung discount talaga yung mag-aano sa kanila, mag-level out.
The Compliant Association of Boracay is hoping to triple the number of guests entering the island come October to help them recover losses from the past months. Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.
More stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The IATF is seeing a silver lining for tourism courtesy of rapid antigen tests. PALA spokesperson Harry Roque said the task force has given the green light for the pilot rollout of rapid antigen testing in Baguio City. He added that visitors will be required to pass by the triage at the Baguio Convention Center, or they will undergo COVID testing. An initial batch of 200 guests from Region 1 will participate.
Pilot na paggamit po sa antigen testing sa Baguio City. Ang antigen testing po ay swab din yan, pero para po siyang rapid test kits na mabilis ang resulta, 10 to 15 minutes. Now, gagamitin po ito sa Baguio on a pilot basis doon sa mga nagkaroon po ng contacts no, sa COVID positive, doon sa mga areas na mayroong clustering of cases.
Water concessionaires in Metro Manila are exploring other possible sources of water as the Kaliwa Dam project faces delays in construction. Shaila Francisco is back with this report.
The Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System, or MWSS, is expecting minor delays with the Kaliwa Dam project due to restrictions brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. For one, the agency notes they have yet to comply with the environmental compliance certificate as they still need to complete the process for securing free, prior, and informed consent from the affected indigenous peoples. Even the survey requirements for the design of the dam is still pending.
The contractor at the China Energy has requested for a time extension for additional of 6 to 7 months delay of the project. So, but hopefully we can cope up with the construction later on as we complete yung mga other requirements.
Despite this, the MWSS is optimistic that it can begin construction by 2024. The Kaliwa Dam project is expected to supply 600 million liters per day to an estimated 3 million customers to augment supply from Angat Dam. For now, MWSS is looking for other alternative sources of water, including getting more supply from Laguna Lake. The agency is hoping the concession agreement will be finalized this year to fast-track the process of the construction of these plants.
We are waiting for the positive development of the concession agreement so that we can full force in the implementation of the two major projects at Laguna Lake for water treatment plants for East Bay and Poblacion Codata for the next 2 to 3 years.
Maynilad, for its part, will be installing a modular treatment plant to treat water from the rivers of Imus, Cavite and produce drinking water. The equipment will be sourced from Israel and will be inside container vans. It is expected to start producing 26 million liters per day by the end of the year.
Ang magiging advantage po nito ay hindi nakukuha yung mga areas na yon ng tubig mula doon sa treatment plant namin sa Lamesa at sa Putatan. So practically, kung sakaling magkakaroon man ng kakulangan ng tubig mula doon sa Angat source natin, itong mga malalayong lugar na to sa Imus at Bacoor ay may sarili na sila na pagkukuhanan ng tubig.
Manila Water, on the other hand, has an ongoing construction to put a portable water treatment plant that will source water from Marikina River. The goal is to make it operational by the year. Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.
The Foreign Affairs Department is working around the clock to send home thousands of stranded Filipino seafarers in various countries. This as the COVID-19 pandemic takes its toll on the workers' mental health. Gerard De La Peña with the story.
It was a huge sigh of relief for these 11 Filipino seafarers when their vessel was finally allowed to approach the coast of Dongshan, China on Tuesday. The group is hoping to be finally sent home next week. They have been stranded at Ocean Star 86 for more than a year after their contracts expired sometime in 2018. It was all the more difficult for them to go home to the Philippines when China locked its borders to foreigners due to the pandemic.
Sana po makauwi na po kami, sana matulungan po kami ng Philippine Consulate dito po sa China po na makauwi kami po.
They are just among the 80,000 Filipino seafarers who have been stranded in the sea as the COVID-19 pandemic prompted various countries to close their borders.
Yung po yung problema, no? Hindi po sila makadaong at hindi po mababa yung ating mga seafarers kasi nga po bawal pa po sa buong China, no? Ang foreigners.
According to international maritime standards, a seafarer may only stay on board for a maximum of 11 months. Anything beyond this may result in anxiousness and depression.
Alam naman natin kung sobra na sa kontrata, it affects already their physical and mental health. So kung apektado yung physical and mental health ng mga seafarers natin, ibig sabihin unsafe na yung ang paglalayag ng mga barko natin.
The Foreign Affairs Department is offering psychosocial help to Filipinos overseas through embassies and consulates, but it admits extending the assistance is difficult.
Wala tayong social welfare attaché sa loob ng barko. Wala tayong polo OWA sa loob ng barko. Wala tayong embassy at consulate sa loob ng barko.
The DFA says it is already making arrangements with the Chinese embassy to repatriate more than 100 Filipinos in China. The department is also racing against time to repatriate as many Filipino seafarers worldwide as they can before Christmas. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
For more updates, follow News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. You can also visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. And you can catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com. Stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.